friends. It is I, Katie Morton.
And Jennifer Palmer.
We are both intuitives, energy healers, spiritual teachers, and together we are divinely guided.
And every Thursday night, or most Thursday nights, we get together with you, hang out, have some fun, and connect with your loved ones and spirit guides to help you get some sort of resolution or answer some questions or confirm what you may be thinking.
Right on. So if you have any questions, just enter those questions into the chat box. And we have a chat software here. We will answer questions in the order they are received. We're not ignoring you.
Ever.
Yeah. So if we don't get to you, we're sorry. But you can always book personal appointments with us if you really have a burning question and something that you need answers to. Our emails are in the description.
You might also be interested in our soul growth group. If you go to divinelyguided.tv, you will see our soul growth group, and we have a lot of fun with that. And we like to help you develop your intuitive skills and learn from your own stuff. And we dive deep into some things sometimes, but it's a lot of fun.
And one last public service announcement is about the big fluffy dog meandering about. She snuffles, she snorts, she farts, she throws toys around. It is not us. Usually. She's grunting. Oh, yeah. That noise, you hear that?
Wasn't me. Oh, she's so cute, though. And if you're interested and like what we do, please feel free to share. We love getting new people on here too. We learn so much from everybody, and we hope that you enjoy it too. A lot of the messages that we get for other people on here might also apply to you. So definitely stay on and listen and pay attention to what's being said, because a lot of times the guides, when they come through with very high loving wisdom, it often will hit home.
Yeah, it's often for everybody, not just for the person who...
Even us sometimes.
Yeah. Not just for the person whose question is getting answered.
All right.
Liz Marsh, you're lucky number 1. She says, "Hi, ladies. Any messages for me?" Okay, Liz. I don't know what this means, but I was seeing somebody, there's like a red curtain and somebody on the stage, and they have like, it's like old school top hat and cane, and they're like tap dancing across the stage. I'm pretty sure that is probably not literal. It's probably symbolic.
When I heard it's important not to go too fast. So the feel I get with this is that maybe it's something that you're wishing would come more quickly. But the sense of it is, everything in its right timing. Try not to think things should happen more quickly than they are. And then I heard ding, 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 knocking it out of the ballpark. But instead of seeing somebody like hit a baseball, it was somebody kicked a soccer ball. So I'm just telling you what I get. That was very interesting.
Yeah, and about the song and dance, what I was getting after Jen said about the pacing of things, it was like, sit down and take a load off, like relax, because sometimes we think in order that we have to like make things happen, it's like we got to shuffle around and do all the things, and it feels like, I don't know, like you've done quite enough for now. It doesn't mean totally stop. It just means like you don't have to keep up any sort of a frantic pace to make things happen. And I am hearing that's for a lot of us. So what I am hearing for you, Liz, and for everyone, it's really helpful when we can stay centered and take inspired action, because when we want something to happen, often what we wind up doing is like there's this big control panel of options in front of us. There's like buttons that we could push and levers we can pull, and there's things we could be doing all day long, and sometimes we think we got to work our control panels.
I love control panels.
All the buttons. And sometimes that's not the best approach. Sometimes it's, go to the pool for a day or whatever it is the answer, because there's things running in the background or there's things percolating. And then, but also when we get that urge to take inspired action, we also need to jump at the chance, because I know also a lot of people, they get the urge to take the inspired action and then they debate themselves out of it, or, for whatever reason, they don't leap on the opportunity to act. So it's really acting when called to, but holding back when, instead of just spinning our wheels, because sometimes we can do more harm than good. They're giving me the example of somebody who maybe they need to find a job, and let's say that they're divinely guided to apply for a particular position, but perhaps the application process is slow and they don't want to wait and they're feeling nervous, or we get ourselves a little rankled, and the idea that like they start cranking out applications and then they get this overwhelming process going with job options, and then maybe they choose the wrong job, and when really what they were supposed to have done is to wait for this one particular position, but their impatience can get the best of them. But that's just one example. I don't know if that applies directly to you. It was just kind of giving people an idea of like, well, how can you screw it up? That sort of a thing.
Anything else?
No.
All right. I think that's it.
I think that is it.
All right. Susan Hobbs, any messages? Thanks, ladies.
Hey, Susan.
So I'm getting something around, I think it's more health related or just like physical body related, but I'm also getting it's mind, body, spirit. And so I just want to real quickly say, and whatever this is, because they're not being real specific, but it feels as if they're saying, pay as much attention to each one of those, like very consciously. Mind, what are you intaking to feed your mind? Body, what are you intaking and or doing to feed your body? And then spirit, what are you doing to really feed and heal and help your soul? And all of it's equally important. And it just feels like something to do with that. I'm not sure which one it is, but I think I'm leaning more towards physical body, but I don't feel like I'm hitting the nail on the head with just that. So maybe it's more than one thing. But it just feels like, remember that this temple of yours, it is what you have. It is your instrument. So Katie and I are taking singing lessons. And one of the things that I surprisingly find very profound is that this is an instrument. I don't think about it that way. It's your beautiful instrument. What are you doing that's harming your beautiful instrument and your experience within it? And what are you doing that's helping it and serving it? And if you're doing a lot more that's harming it, or really anything that's harming it, start making some tweaks to help your body function more and your soul function more easily within the body. And I think whatever this is, because I'm trying to get more specifics and they're not going there. But I think this is also really good for, I think, most people who might be hearing this, because I think a lot of times we take this body or this experience or our emotions or that food or whatever it is for granted, and we're not being with it and we're not taking care of it. We're not very good caretakers sometimes. And we just kind of flop this thing around and go where we're going and shove food down the face hole and then we move on throughout our day and not really necessarily being with that moment. And so in learning how to tune this instrument and be what you want it to be, how are you caring for it? And just take notice of that and make note of what you need to change and start working at that.
Yeah, and I was getting another thing. Susan, this is for you, but it's also for everybody. And it's just a quick recap of the way we describe the ascension process, which is when, as we go through life, if we're just sort of in our ego space and then we're just reacting to things, and it's like, let's say, for example, somebody slams a door on your toe, and then we flip into our automatic processes, like we go into victim mode. How could you? This offends me. You know,
4 little words. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, we just sort of whatever.
Yeah.
We do the thing. But when we're coming from a more enlightened space and we're being the observer of our experience versus being down in it, it's a very different experience of life. And when we have these triggers, these wounds, these catalysts for growth that happen to us, we can sit back and process, and then we can respond as opposed to reacting. And in the response, often it's, instead of, well, let me figure them out and figure out how to deal with them and I'll respond to them. That's not the way. That's still sort of another layer of ego. It always has to come back to the self. I'm reacting in a way. What is inside me that needs to be dealt with, that needs to be healed, so that I can handle this with more grace, more ease, more joy, whatever it is, those feelings that you're seeking versus the reactivity that you want to heal and rise above. It's in that process, it's very rarely much to do about the other person. Sometimes it can be about boundaries and how do you deal with other people, but that's still an internal process that you need to arrive at, as opposed to just reacting to them to set the boundary. It has to be a lot more curious and careful than that. So I think that whatever this is it always assists health when you do that process, because then you're coming from a much less catalyzed, stressful, reactive space. And when you can have that inner peace and that measured calm, it helps you do that. That's taking care of your body as well, because you're not always flooding it with the stress chemicals and the stress hormones. And it helps you make better, measured, healthful decisions too. Because a lot of times when it comes to health, a lot of the decisions that we make tend to be around pleasure or comfort. And if we're looking for comfort or stress relief, we don't always turn to the healthiest habits and behaviors. So it can help us to curate healthy habits and behaviors that also help us to find comfort. For example, if for some people, like taking a walk at sunset is both comforting and stress relieving. So it's being more careful in those choices and always making, the higher, better choice that's available to you. I think that's all I'm getting.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, Laura Ernaway. Hi, ladies. Any messages about health and career? Okay, Laura.
So I'm not sure what this means yet, but I'm definitely feeling solar plexus pain. I'm trying to figure out, is this like more like chakra related, or is it more physical organ related? So I'm just going to keep tuning in, but I wanted to say that in case you're getting anything.
Okay, so what I just got about that was that it's about career, about service, and the choice. So when we make any sort of choice in our life, but especially anything about career, it helps. Again, this is from the ascension standpoint. We came here to grow as souls and to ascend. And what Jenn and I always talk about is choosing the positive path of ascension, which is in service to other selves. So let's say, for example, we're making career decisions. It's very normal in this life to make those decisions from the root chakra, meaning, well, how am I going to provide for myself materially? What's this job going to do for me? As opposed to the service aspect, which is more about how can I best serve others, which is really hard to do in this life because we need money. We need money to survive. And so oftentimes to make really, say, good, ascension worthy career choices, what we need to do is become very conscious of the idea of, okay, I want to be in service to others because I would like to ascend positively, but probably having financial fears. It's kind of like going around. So, what do I need to heal in order to make decisions from a higher, more noble, dutiful, honorable calling type of a space, as opposed to what do I got to do to survive around here?
Well, and to manifest what it is that you need to feel like you are stable and secure and able to work from a more heart-centered space.
Mm-hmm. So they're saying, let's talk about manifestation. Yeah, because when it comes to career for all of us, and they're just saying, I was saying, like, well, is this specifically for Laura? They just said, don't get hung up on that. We're just going to deliver the message. So they're bringing to mind I did a new moon meditation last night. If you didn't listen to that, it's available, the replay, it's on Facebook. I will add it to our website. But so that new moon meditation will walk you through a manifestation process that clears out your etheric space. It teaches you how to put all the good in, get the bad stuff out of there so that you're manifesting your best and highest timelines. And that can be with career and anything else that you're looking to manifest. And I'm hearing sooner rather than later that we're in the middle of this sort of new moon portal. And I think the energies will hold for like maybe a day, like after today, but it's like sort of take advantage of this energetic window that we're in right now, because it's very powerful manifestation energies. So ride that wave and do that process. It'll be really helpful. And I'm not getting anything else.
So I am getting a little bit about health. So I'm not going into too much, but what I am getting is I do feel that some liver cleansing, which, I think across the board, most people could use some liver cleansing. But with so many different issues that we go through health-wise, that's often a very big component is just we're overburdened with toxins. So I do feel like some detox, generalized detox, maybe with some specific focus on liver would be really important. But I'm also getting digestion, and mostly, although I think it's a little bit everywhere, maybe it's not optimized, but small intestine I feel like could use some support. And one of the things that was coming to me around that is enzyme therapy. You might look into doing something with really good high quality enzymes where you take it on an empty stomach, because what that does is it starts cleansing and purifying the small intestine and helps kind of clean things up so that it's not struggling so much to keep digesting things. And it's a really just good thing, long-term thing you can do to help your small intestine. So do some research on that, see if it's right for you. This is not medical advice for sure, but I can just tell you what I'm getting with that. And I think that's it. I would focus on some detox and just helping digestion. And I think that supports whatever it is you might be questioning, that I think supports it. I think that's it.
I think that is it.
All right. Rachel Rose Farber.
Hey, lady.
Happy eclipse. Any messages for me specifically about the transition?
The transition. Okay, I hate to sound like a broken record, but they're kind of giving me a little bit of the same thing as the last one, which is to do the new moon meditation if you haven't already, to like sweep out all the fears. It feels like to hit this from a manifestation angle in terms of removing what you don't want and putting into your vortex or your ether what it is that you do want, and trying to raise your vibe about it. Like getting into that, like really trusting and hopeful space that everything is working out perfectly for you. And to understand, they're saying, and to understand that it can't go any other way. Because even in this life, when we perceive things as being, let's say, drastically imperfect, it's always trying to show us something. And it's only a matter of perspective that makes something good or bad. And I know that sounds like, really? Like, only perspective? Like, aren't some things like just plain bad? And it's like, no, not from the spiritual standpoint. There's always a higher perspective, and there's always a reason why things are happening, and they always do serve us in some way.
Yeah, and I was just getting that. I think with the change and the transition that it seems like it's going to be a bigger deal than maybe it's actually going to be. It feels like it's a very graceful step into this new phase. And like, I almost get a sense that you wonder, like, who are you going to be in this new place? You're so used to being the way you've been in this position, and moving on beyond it into probably more mission work and things like that. I don't know, it seems like it's such a big deal, but it just rolls and it flows. And I guess basically the feeling is that it's easier than you think it's going to be. And that's all I'm getting. I'm not really getting anything else. Are you getting anything else?
No, but I was also just feeling that I was seeing you in whatever this new phase is, and you were feeling really centered and just good, solid, stable. So, right on.
Yeah, like kind of like no regrets.
Yeah.
No regrets.
No regrets. Okay. Jean Butien says, "Hi, anything from my nephew?"
Let's see.
Okay.
That'll be the first love one for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's here, but I also feel like others are with him. I'm not sure who this is. I don't feel like it's him, but it's the first thing that I saw, and it looked like I saw. At first, it seemed like it was a bicycle, but then it turned into a motorcycle doing a wheelie. And I asked, "Was that him?" And they were like, "No." But I do feel like it's connected to him somehow. So I don't know if it's somebody else on the other side in your family who maybe enjoyed motorcycles or bicycles or something. And then I saw somebody else, and it felt like an older gentleman that liked either pipe or tobacco or something. It looked like a pipe, but it was really quick.
Yeah, I had a sense of like a huffy bike, and I also saw a kid in a white hooded sweatshirt.
I don't feel like he's alone. I feel like a lot of them are kind of coming up together. So then I just saw like a face with some acne. I think they wanted to, whoever this is, they wanted to show they had acne.
And I remember when I was younger, the skater boys had this like swoop haircut, like this long bang thing going on, and I was seeing that too. So I don't know if that resonates.
Yeah, either these are all different people on the other side, or they're showing us images of maybe it's him showing us images of his friends or something like that. Either way, it feels like they're trying to confirm who they are. I'm not sure what this is. I think it's someone trying to show me they liked working with metal. I saw metal. I don't know. On those things that's terrible things. There's things that spin, and then you put it on there, and all these sparks go flying. I don't know what it is,
And
but
then there's that squealing noise.
yes, I actually heard that.
Me too.
Okay, so I saw something like that. I heard that noise, that squealy, like scraping nails on a fingernails on a chalkboard kind of a feel. But I don't know if your nephew is the one who'd like to work on metal, or if it's someone else who's passed. who's with him, but that felt like it was definitely somebody on the other side showing me what they did. I do feel like there's some sort of an important date coming up. I don't know if it's a birthday or an anniversary, but it feels like they want you to know that they're here, and they know it's coming, and they're very present and a part of what's going on in everyday life.
So they want me to just give a message for everybody. I did a reading for someone yesterday who she's sensing the pending loss of a loved one, and she's a little like fearful and sad about that. And so just a general message for the humans of Earth, because we often have this concept of death as being just like tragically sad, the loss of life. And what the past loved ones would often say is that it's a party over here. And also, because the veil is like sort of thin and people are learning how to connect with their loved ones on the other side, we often only need to, these days, if you are dedicated to the practice of learning intuition, you would only need to grieve the physical presence of the body. We had the experience of losing a good friend of ours back in December, and she came. I didn't have time to shed a tear. She was right in my ear, like,
Yeah.
"Hi, it's me. Like, don't be sad." And anytime I would start thinking, and it still happens sometimes, I'll think, "Man, I miss her," and she's like, "What? I'm right here." Like, I can't even miss her. Like she just makes sure of it. So it's quite hilarious to me to have to lost a loved one and then have that experience of like, no time to grieve, right here. So just knowing that we don't have to feel such a deep void.
And they are so in our business. They really are. They're just like, what's going on now? Okay.
Like, I'm in the shower, get out. Oh, sorry. But seriously, what's going on? Like, they don't care.
I'm also getting something, and I think this is from your nephew. I'm not positive, but it just feels like, life is short. It's short for all of us. And to keep it lighthearted, none of us make it out of here alive in the physical anyway. But we move on, and we are very much alive spiritually. And this is not the only experience by far. And to just remember that, think about it more as if, somebody's moved out of the country and maybe you just don't get to see them very often, and very oftentimes, when people pass, it's to help those who are left here to deal with the loss or the feeling of the loss, to open their hearts and explore their own pain within, to come to the other side of it. The only way through the only way to get away from the darkness is to walk through it, and so many times we hide in life from the darkness that shows up. We just want to turn and run the other way. We don't want to face any of it. And it's just going to keep showing up one way or another. Something keeps happening to make us experience pain and darkness. And it's not until we walk through it and face it all of the darkness within, all the darkness without, everything that's going on that we keep wanting to run from, when we just look at it and face it head on, that's when we get on the other side of it. And that's when we can experience joy and peace and love, even in the midst of these types of things, any kind of loss that we may experience or difficulty. So I feel like that's the big message really is, look at your own darkness. All of us look at our own darkness, walk through that dark tunnel, get to the other side, and don't be afraid of that darkness. Really face it, whatever it is. And I feel like they're pulling away. That's all I'm getting. Are you getting anything else?
Nope, that is it.
All right. I hope that was helpful.
Mm-hmm. Is it my turn to read? I can't remember.
I think it's mine, actually.
Okay.
Carrie Goulet. Hi, ladies. Hope you are doing well. Anything my guides need me to know today?
Hey, Carrie.
Hey, lady.
I get the sense that you have a grandmother here, maybe, who liked to bake pies.
And I just saw flowers.
I don't know. She had like an apron on, and like she's like wiping her hands on the apron or like a dish towel. It's like the sense of that.
I'm getting a sense of, like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No.
Just somebody's kind of strict. Not abusive or anything, but just strict. Like you didn't want to do the wrong thing.
Well, and I was getting the general sense, like to deliver the idea that for all of us, it's a very exciting time on Earth in terms of the ascension and growth for everyone. And there's a lot of past loved ones hanging around every single one of you watching, and they're all really excited. You know, people are coming around that perhaps haven't even been hanging around. Like there's big crowds of dead people all around you. Anyway, sorry, yeah, not to be super uber creepy about it, but it's true. And but they're excited. They're excited for the ascension and this summer because there's the people who are getting ascension and they're doing it right are living into this idea of the new earth experience. And even though everything kind of looks a bit like crap or chaos, it's like they know how to ride high above it and to keep their vibration high and to focus on things like manifestation and to not get down in the weeds. And even the ones who are kind of like sucking at it, it's still great because they're learning. And even in all of these catalysts and they're running into walls and they can't keep doing the same old things they've been doing because it's not working for them anymore. So they're even excited about that the old, I was saying to Jenn earlier, because they were bringing through a similar channeling, and what they were saying is that, you know, in the past, people could walk around with very like asleep kind of crappy patterns and still thrive and do really well in life, and they never really had to wake up. Those days are over. So, you know, people really just can't get away with much these days. So, yay, depending on which side of the fence you're on, I guess.
Time to grow whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's about it. You know, and if you don't take advantage of one catalyst, say, and decide you're not going to learn from it, then they're going to swing that dead cat around again. That's all, you know. Yes. On that note, how you doing, Carrie? Was that even for you? I don't know.
I don't think it was.
I don't think so.
But that's okay.
Yeah, I think they just took advantage of your question to get in what they wanted to get.
Well, the other thing I was getting to is, and I think this is also for not just Carrie, but maybe everyone or many people on here, I think because the loved ones really are very present, and this is a very exciting time on Earth for so many different reasons, you might be getting more dreams of them. You might be just like sensing them or feeling them or see signs like pennies or feathers, that kind of a thing. And or just might think of them out of nowhere. Take a moment and say hi to them when that happens because they are there. They do pay attention and they do want to reach out and connect with you. So feel free to do so. Speak out loud. And I think that's it. Sorry, Carrie, I don't feel like we're getting much specifically for you. I think your loved ones were coming in using it as like a catalyst for everybody else. So
yeah. Well, or to just let you know, like they're excited. Yay.
Yay.
All right. Faye Robbins says, hi, Jenn and Katie. Can you ask my guides if that was a plane fly low over my home? I take it you heard a noise. Okay, we'll find out. I'm hearing yes. I don't know if Jen's getting the same thing.
Yeah, I got yes, but I also feel like they're like, eh. And I feel like there's some other messages. So I feel like they,
Yeah, they're not too concerned about it.
yeah.
All right, I don't know why. They just want me to share this. When we were in Florida doing our retreat back in April, I was in the middle of delivering a meditation for the group, and then there was I think it was a helicopter or a plane that went like really low behind us in the middle of meditation. And I was just like, I'm sorry, you guys, I gotta stop and look at that like in the middle of the meditation. But it was the idea of that it was like a total nothing burger. And they were just like, at the time, like, fine. And then we just jumped right back into the meditation, and it was, we hardly missed a beat. But I think it was the idea in general, the feeling they're giving me around it was using the idea of the plane as a message, for you, Faye, and for all of us, that is often how we go about life. There can be something that seems like it's like very important and startling, and it pulls our attention away from like what actually matters or what's actually important. And then we feed all this like fear and time and energy into it. And to learn how to bring ourselves quickly back to center and to tune into guidance so that we know we can filter out what's important and what's not important. And I do feel like, we always have themes for these things. And I think like manifestation is like definitely the theme of the night, because they were also bringing me to the idea of yesterday. Before I was doing this manifestation meditation, I was actually really nervous. I've never done a live by myself. And it was like my first live doing a meditation that I've never done before. So it was like a little like I was a little, and we were dealing with some like nasty energetic attacks yesterday. So I was sort of trying to figure out like, well, what if I'm blocked? I had a lot of fears going into the meditation, and it helped me to really develop my faith muscle, my trust muscle, and my ability to surrender and say, God, you know what? I'm going to put this one in your hands, and whatever's for the best and highest, like we're going to do this no matter what. And we're just going to hope for the best outcome. And then I had to do my work. I had to cleanse and clear my fears and center myself and get some healing and just, pedal my little bike and do all the things. And not let it stop me, because it would be really easy. Because, when the attacks were giving me a migraine, what, pop some Advil and move on. And that's what I did. I just had to soldier on. But in the past, I would have let a migraine stop me and use it as a reason, and a very good reason, to cancel something like an intuitive meditation. But I just thought, you know what? Nope, I'm just going to do it. I don't care. And that definitely helped. So.
Yeah, and I saw an image of a dollar sign. So I think, and I was kind of getting along lines of manifestation, working the manifestation, and the Katie exercise last night, that meditation was actually all about it. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, if you did watch it again and do it again with the specific idea of cleaning up some of the money stuff within it and helping to bring in what you really would like to achieve with it, which is not, like a large bank account necessarily or anything like that, but just feeling at ease and feeling comfort. It's more about, your presence with the issue, and getting rid of all the hooks and the emotion in it, the negative emotion. So clearing up as much as you can around any of that so that you can manifest what you're looking for in a very clean manner. But I think that's it. That's all I was getting about it.
Okay, that is it.
All right. Doug Henninger, hello. Any info from Guides for Me?
Okay. So what I'm feeling is a little frustration and the idea of old patterns not working, but also a little confusion about like not knowing what to try next. And what I am hearing is get curious. Sometimes I feel like a broken record because we're always saying like
Yeah.
get curious. So it does feel like asking better questions. My guides just led me to this recently, this concept of, ask better questions, get better answers. And I think that's a Tony Robbins
Mm.
thing. I think he talks about that. So maybe Google that and look into what does Tony Robbins specifically mean about it. But I can tell you what I think about it. So, like, let's say, we often talk about taking the lid off the box in terms of manifestation and opening up to limitless possibilities. We can also do the same thing with ourselves when it comes to, our healing work, our patterns, our habits, the things that we're thinking like, well, maybe we need to change, or maybe we don't, or we're not sure. And it's like, ask a really broad range of questions that are like give yourself a more sweeping vista as you approach the subject, whatever this might be. And it's the idea of, sometimes we can ask like really specific granular questions, and I feel like you have to ask bigger questions than what you're already asking. Were you getting?
Yeah, well, what I got was I saw you, and then I saw you shapeshift into a child. And where I was going with that was, and then you immediately said curious, get curious. And I'm like, well, children tend to be a lot more curious. Adults tend to think we know things. And it's because we go down a different road, or we latch on to things that try to make sense to us. And then we get into a groove with it. So I feel like it's part of that, but I also feel like there's probably some inner child work to do. When I first thought that, I was like, well, I don't know, but they were like, no, this is important. So I tend to lean it means more about that, with the inner child work, and I don't know if it's old wounding or something, or maybe something that wasn't resolved that you dealt with as a child. But there's something there. And I also think it's, not just seeing, going in and checking that inner child within, but it's also sometimes, with the people around us, making sure we look at their inner child, and we just, we're all like grown up children in a way, and we often do things and we think, oh, that person should know better, or whatever, but we aren't looking at the wounding underneath of them. And so we judge people, or make assumptions about people based on, what they're doing as an adult, but we don't stop to think about the internal wounding that they've experienced, and it's never really an excuse per se, but it helps us understand things from other people and within ourselves. We can have those really beautiful goggles put on of looking at each other through these more innocent eyes, and I just feel like that's really important. So whatever that is, if it's about you or somebody else, but I saw you turn into the child. So I think that it has to do with, your own inner child, but I also think it's about others too. But um, I hope that makes sense. I don't think I'm getting anything else.
I think that is it.
All right.
All right. Susan Littlefield says,
Wow.
I feel sad. I'm sorry, Susan. She said, I did the meditation. I also went for a long walk today. Well, we'll tune in and see if we can get something for you.
So I feel lonely, and I feel that, things just aren't happening the way I expect them to, or the way I really want them to.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
things just
feeling
aren't
like
showing up.
I have the feeling of I can't get what I want.
Life is not turning up roses for me.
So we just recorded a video earlier today that they were bringing to mind, and it's basically about what happens when you don't get what you want. From the idea of manifestation, and why is that? Why sometimes our manifestations are blocked? And I'm going to see if we can figure out which of the things. So while you're getting that, they want me to explain what options could be. So sometimes we want things that aren't for our soul's highest good. We think that I'm just going to give an example, Susan. I don't know if this
Mhm.
specifically applies to you, but they're bringing through the example of somebody who really wants a lover. They want to meet the one. They feel they're more than ready. Let's say they've been single for years, and they're just like
Mhm.
they're done with this situation. And the idea that they could have more work to do is just like offensive at this point.
Yes.
That can happen. And sometimes it's like the idea that if we were to wind up in a relationship before we're like really, 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 really ready, we're going to wind up with a crap relationship, and we can wind up in life going down a road, a lower timeline that is really regrettable. So it could be, that's one idea of like a manifestation that doesn't work, or the idea of somebody wanting a specific job that they think is their dream job, and then they don't get it. And there could be some reason on the soul's path that, like, we get confused egoically about what we think would be good for us, but we
Mhm.
don't always know what's for our highest good. Other ways that, from the manifestation point, and this would be from that manifestation or the manifestation video that I did yesterday, is the idea that like negative entities could interfere, and then we just want to like sweep that out of the ether, or the idea that other people's fears or desires or energies could get in our way. But I don't feel like that's that. I feel like it was the first explanation, but let Jen talk.
So, yeah, what I'm getting about this is, and I feel like this also relates to a lot of us on here tonight. So, this is not just about you, Susan. But, I used to have a lot of health issues, and I remember just being like, why is nothing working? I'm doing all the things, I'm eating this way, I'm doing this detox, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and all these other people are experiencing benefits with this product or this service or whatever. And I'm not healing. And it was so blocked. And it wasn't until I really started approaching things from a very deep spiritual, energetic point of view that the outside things that I was trying to do for my physical body actually started to work. And it wasn't overnight. It was a spiral up. There is a spiral up. And I think a lot of times we expect things to work when we want them to work. And the process is the process. And it's not about time. It's about chinks in the chain, basically. How far have you gotten in that chain of events? Not how long has it been since you started the chain of events.
Ain't that the truth? I just need to pause
Gosh.
you there because it's a very important point. And down here, time drags, and we will mark those years on the wall of the prison of how long we've been in here, and it's like definitely the wrong approach. So anyway, yeah, it's the guys will always say that it's not about timing; it's about how emotionally ready you are and the
It's the
process.
process.
It's the process.
We are here for the process. And a lot of times with manifestation or things that we're trying to achieve in our lives, we are so focused on that end result, we ignore the process and we try to take shortcuts and we try to do the easy route. And they're like, well, that's just going to take you about another 5 years. Go for it, honey. They're like, we got all the time in the universe, whatever you want to do, let's go with us. But we recommend you do this. Face that dark tunnel, do the dark things, get through it, because that's your quickest way through. You don't get to bypass lessons. None of us do. We don't bypass. We can't. We can put them off and put them off and put them off and put them off.
Well, we don't get what we want over
Right.
and over again.
And then we throw temper tantrums or get mad or get frustrated or get sad or whatever it is. And the lessons just keep coming back and coming right in front of us. And we're like, no, la, 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 can't see or hear you.
Not doing it.
No. I told you what I wanted. This isn't it. Well, God or universe, whatever this is, creator is like, honey, actually, it is what you need. It is what you want. So if it's the loneliness or the things that you're feeling or health issues, whatever it is, go through that experience. Be really present with it. I remember one time I received coaching from somebody, and I will never forget this because I was very irritated by it. And it was a health issue. And I was like, no, I need this to be gone. I need to be done. I want to be past it. I want to be done with it. And she's like, well, what if you end up having to live with it the rest of your life? And I was like, F no. No, that's just not going to happen. That can't happen. I said no. No. But I had to think about that. You have to be okay with what is in front of you. and you have to walk through it. You cannot ignore it. You have to face it, be with it, learn to love it and be grateful for it, and then move through it. And so whatever it is that's holding you back, keeping you from the manifestations that you're trying to bring forth, face it. Whatever is showing up that you're not happy with, face it and be okay with it and love it anyway. And this is your life. This is where you are. This is your life. This is your moment. Really be it. And become that hero. And a lot of times we end up feeling like we're a victim to our lives or to the circumstances in our lives. And that is not walking through the tunnel. That is not walking through the darkness. That's ignoring the darkness. And we need to face all of that and appreciate where we're at and realize the idea of the victimization is actually meant to be a catalyst for us to grow. And how are we going to do that? How are we going to move forward? How are we going to move past it? How are we going to love our process and ourselves within that process and not focus so much on the outcome? Put it out there what you want. Let it be known what you're working towards, but also put out there, show me how to get there. Show me how to do the work I need to do. Show me what the next steps are to walk through this dark tunnel, because that's what we need. And I tell you, every time I do that, my guides are like, oh, thank God you finally asked. All right, here's the next step. And it's not, how do I get over there? It's, all right, what's next? What's next? Show me where the light is. Show me how I get through this. What's next? And then it ends up better than you thought it could be. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and they're bringing up the idea, again, still for everybody, the idea of unconditional joy. And I've been learning deeper and deeper layers of this lesson. So I noticed recently that for a while, I've been totally easily holding unconditional joy, like whatever. But then I realized there was like, I had a thing going on there. It was like, well, you can endure anything for like a period of time, but things will eventually turn around. And it's like, that's a condition. So the deeper layer of the lesson is, what if things don't turn around? Like Jenn said, like, well, what if she doesn't get better? What if? We always need to explore the lesson of what if that manifestation, whatever it might be, never ever comes to pass? Can you still be joyful? And the answer is yes, you can, but will you? Will you do the work? Will you enjoy the process enough to be in joy no matter, come what may, no matter what?
Now that said, it is nice to get to that end result and achieve what you were working towards. And that is important too, but you can't really get there without the process a lot of times.
Yeah. So. And finding some peace and joy within that process. You rarely can people just hold the bars of their cage and rattle it and be angry the whole time and then get what they want. Like, that's not a good process.
Yeah, it doesn't work. We tried.
Yeah. I'm gonna move this cage across the floor. They won't let me out. No, I will go to the thing that I want. Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, I just had a really crazy visual. I won't go there. Anyway, I hope that helps, Susan, and I hope we made you laugh.
At the very least.
At the very least.
Yeah.
Oh, love you, honey.
Yeah, same.
All right, Lisa Fabula.
I love that name. Fabula.
Good evening, ladies. I would like to know if you have any messages for me from my guides. Thank you.
Okay, Lisa. Sorry, my crystals are knocking together. I got all kinds of stuff going on here.
So I have this weird urge or sense. I don't know if it's a loved one. I think it is, but I just feel like I'm like, I want to hack and cough, although I'm not coughing. Usually with loved ones, I end up coughing or, whatever it is, and it really affects me physically. But this is more like a vision and a feeling of coughing, and but it's like right here. It feels masculine. I think this is a loved one.
I feel like I'm seeing someone in a hospital bed, like pretty elderly and with the IV in the hand. I don't know, wrinkly individual.
I'm a wrinkly individual.
No, I mean like ancient wrinkly. You know what I mean? No offense, past loved one. You look wonderful. They turned to me and they went to laugh and they went,
Oh, Lord, the things we experience. Yeah, I'm tasting like cigarettes or tobacco or something. Like I don't feel like I want to hack up a lung, but I feel like this person, I don't know if they chew tobacco or smoked or something, but it definitely feels something along those lines.
All right, I am getting the song American Pie.
And I just saw a checkerboard.
Okay. And they're yelling at me to sing it, so okay. Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. The good old boys drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This'll be the day that I die.
Aw.
This'll be the day that I die." And that "This'll be the day that I die," they wanted me to get to that lyric. So you okay?
So maybe that means that this person knew that they were going to pass.
Yeah.
And I just heard, I'm not sure if it's from this person, although it probably is. Don't be afraid of what's coming. It's a sense that, there's a lot of anxiety or worry about something that's unfolding. I'm not sure if it's personal or global. I'm not real clear on that. I think it might be more about the global stuff. But I'm just getting the sense like it's okay. Everything is going to work out. And
And well, this individual just wants me to pipe in with, they showed me a vision of like they died and it was sort of like they croaked and it was like, pew! And then they were like ascended as an angel and they were like in their little old man nightgown and they were like, wow, oh bliss, oh joy. So they're fine.
he must have like a good sense of humor or something.
But anyway, yes, what Jenn was saying as well.
And I feel like this is a feminine ancestor, but she just said, "Don't you worry about a thing." It was really cute. It sounded maybe old, elderly, I'm not sure, but don't you worry about a thing.
All right, and this past loved one again is showing me he's like the Pied Piper singing that song, and there's like legions of people behind him. It was like vast numbers of loved ones, I believe, sort of like trailing behind him, like huge numbers of people. So I do feel like you are well attended with a host of loved ones who are having a really great time. Because it's the time of the ascension. Sorry, they're just like all excited, It's going around, people. Yeah, and about the global stuff, like again, it's all for our highest good. It's still gonna look chaotic for a really long time, and this is a weird way to say it, but it's sort of like get used to it, like I think when 2020 hit and people like just keep waiting for it to like slow down or stop or like go back to normal, and the loved ones are like, no, that's not happening. Like you need to adjust to the chaos. And
quite honestly, this is our tunnel of darkness that we are walking through to get to the other side.
And what I was hearing was finding peace in the chaos.
Yes.
So it's not like you're like, okay, well, we'll endure the tunnel then. It's not that. It's finding peace in the current landscape and knowing that it's going to be bananas for a while and learning to enjoy your life and don't hold your breath. Don't put your life on hold. Don't just think, oh, well, I'll just sit it out and huddle under a blanket and watch the news until it's all over. Like wrong approach for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No.
I think we tried.
No, I never tried that. Well, I mean, we never skipped a beat. We
Yeah.
kept our businesses going. We switched to
Mhm.
online. It's like be adept and be flexible, and you know, don't go through life with a catcher's mitts on both hands, right? It's like you need to have one hand free to throw a ball once in a
Oh, I
while
love
too, and to enjoy the game of life is what I'm hearing.
I love it.
So that's for everybody.
Real quickly, guys, if any of you are on Rumble, we just started our own channel on Rumble, and it's got one follower, and that's me.
Yeah, so find us on Rumble. We are
Divinely Guided Jenn Katie.
Yeah, Divinely Guided Jenn Katie. It's rumble.com. It's if you've never heard of it, it's a video platform.
Yeah, kind of like YouTube, only different.
Yeah, and we're gonna give that a try. See what that's like. We don't know. All right. Thank you as always for joining us. Go to divinelyguided.tv for videos and Soul Growth Group. And we will see you next Thursday.
Yay.
Bye,
Bye guys.